Anything Goes podcast. I'm Kombat AllStar. This one's going to be a little bit different. Random Girl's here too. She may join in, she may not.
Oh, alright.
Yeah. So, it's funny. I do a Atomic Cast, usually today, but that it's a news-driven show and there's not a lot going on right now. I don't believe in putting out junk. If I want to put out a good news show for you guys and kind of give my opinion on what's going on, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it good. But if there's nothing, I'm not going to go in there and just put on a boring show. But anyway, the reason why I decided to do a podcast today is because there is something I want to talk about. And we've talked about it before. I think it was on like the first or second show. But it continues to go on and no one talks about this. So I feel like it's important to continue to bring this up and continue to talk about it until people start opening their eyes. Usually it's pretty loud on this show. We keep it pretty fun. But it is the Anything Goes show. And man, I gotta talk about this. I saw a post. I'm not going to say who it was from or anything. But I saw a post on Twitter. And they're talking about the three people that played in Dope. The three main characters actually. One is going to be Flash Thompson, new Spider-Man Homecoming movie. The other one's going to be Iris West in the new Justice League movie. And the other one's going to be Miles Morales in the animated Spider-Man movie. So that was just announced. Which, and I'll say the Miles Morales one is pretty cool. Because, I don't even know exactly what ethnicity he is. I think he's like black and Mexican. Or maybe it's just Spanish. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't really read the Miles Morales Spider-Man. I know very little about him. But I mean, hopefully the guy's voice is good, and he does a great job. I mean, kudos to him. It's more money. It's a good job, and yeah, why not? So my problem basically is with the other two, and it's kind of what we were talking about a long time ago, like I said, and I don't know what it is about movie studios or what it is about TV. It really bothers me when I see like Iris West as a black girl or even the new Flash Thompson. He's a big, muscled out, roided out, jock bully, and he's like the skinny, scrawny dude from Dope, and I don't get that. Like to me, and I'll tell you why, because to me, when an artist creates a character, whether they're black, white, Spanish, Asian, whatever, there's a reason why that artist created that character. I'll give you an example, like Superman. I use him a lot because he's the most iconic character out there. But, his creators, Schuster and Siegel, there were two Jewish guys, Jewish immigrants, and, they came over on Ellis Island and, the whole story from back in the day. One of the guys, his dad, died in a bank robbery. And the other guy, I think they both were, a bit of a nerds and everything. And they wish they could take off their glasses and you see this powerful, person. So Superman meant something to them. All of his strengths and, him, being able to, bullets bouncing off of him, was because the guy wanted his dad to be around. He wished his dad was like bulletproof. So I think Dwayne McDuffie put it best. How his story is the immigrant story. Coming over from the old world to the new world.
And that's how it was too.
Right.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the writers, they were immigrants, Jewish.
Yeah. And so his story was like coming over from the old world to the new world. To bringing the best values from the old world and accepting the best from the new world and mixing it all in one big pot, and that's what you got. So that was the idea behind Superman. So everything that makes Superman Superman is the reason why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
So, and I say that because you can't just take Superman and then all of a sudden just make him another culture.
Yeah, because that takes away from, there's so much history story, like Kombat was saying.
Right. And
behind it, yeah.
Yeah, because he came here, he came here as a baby. Mm-hmm. He was raised by a couple of farmers. Could you imagine if
just like their background, just like the original writer's background. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, could you imagine if Superman landed here? And they play with the story a lot. If he landed in Russia, or if he landed in China, or freaking Harlem, New York, it'd be a totally different person with different values and different. It would change the character completely. He wouldn't be Superman anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's why it really bugs me that I'm just gonna say Hollywood. Thinks they
mainstream,
can just they can just take a character and just palette swap them like they don't care. Like, as much as I love the new Flash TV show, I hate the fact that Iris is black. She doesn't act like a black woman. She's not written like a black woman. There's nothing about her that is anything that's a part of our culture. So she's never
supposed to be black?
No, in the comics she's white. No. She's white. And it's like, they write her just like they write her in the comics, which is great as far as her personality goes, but that's not a black woman. You know what I mean?
And the question we want to really ask is, why are you doing this? Is it because you want to add the color to your TV show? Because, I don't know, without that, there would be no color to TV show?
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, and and it's like with Luke Cage, it was a perfect example of what you're supposed to do. Everything that makes up Luke Cage is because of who he is and where he comes from. That's relevant in the comics, that's relevant in the TV show. Thank goodness they did a good job on the TV show, and they brought that through. Everything that makes him is where he came from, where he grew up. You know, that's the point. And that's what makes our heroes our heroes. Exactly. A reflection of who we are.
That's what makes the story authentic too. There's nothing like the background behind a character. I don't know, man. What type of foods they eat, how they talk, where they grew up. You get what I mean? What comes to mind is like the black version of Jon Stewart. You get what I mean?
Right.
You can feel that he's a black man. You know, the way he talks, where he's from, and all that stuff. So it's believable. And I don't know why Marvel does that. Even like with Thor, right? They turned her into a woman. Why?
In the comics they made her Jane Foster.
Okay, so do you agree with that?
No, because and it's the same thing. I may have said this before, but it's like, you know, if I'm a little boy and Thor's my favorite character, and then, you know, I have posters on this wall. I got the Thor lunchbox, and then all of a sudden in the comics, you know, it doesn't matter if they pass the mantle down to someone else. It's like, that is Thor. That's like my hero. No, that's not Thor. And
the thing is, Kombat and I, we're not saying, you know, because there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, it's a good thing, you know, with the women's revolution, there's a good thing. Let me finish. You know, that the women, you know, they're creating more women superheroes, and, you know, there's more black people on TV. We're not saying that, you know, that there doesn't need to be more black heroes and women heroes. Like, I'm all for that. I'm a woman, you know, and then I'm African American. So, but the thing I'm trying to say is, instead of Marvel replacing them because they have such huge freaking in-depth characters, story already, you need to create more women characters, and you need to create more black characters, so therefore they won't need to be replaced, you know, then we're replacing your origin heroes. That's what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah. Is there a lot of, I know more about DC than Marvel. Are there a lot of, like, you know, African-American superheroes in Marvel, or a lot of women heroes in Marvel?
No.
That's why.
And that's the problem. They need to create more.
Yeah, create more.
I think the best thing that DC was able to do, and, you know, DC's not taxing them from this. You know, Iris West is black on TV. That's the only show I can recall that DC's actually did the palette swap thing. It sucks that they did it at all, but at least they've only done it once, to my memory. But it's like, there's so many black superheroes in the DC universe, and it's nice to shine a light on them every now and again. So bring those heroes up, make those heroes relevant, just like Marvel did with Luke Cage.
And you know what? And we know, let's just really be honest, we know, like, with America has a pretty ugly history, racism and all that stuff. So it seems like they're slowly working their way up. Even with Vixen, you get what I mean? The first animated series really of a black woman, you get what I mean, on CW. And that got a huge following, so, you know, they're renewing each season. Even she was shown on Arrow and everything like that. So they're slowly introducing it. So DC's doing this thing. I lost my thought. Combat. So the thing is, it's going to take time. You get what I mean? But now, as far as Marvel goes, you guys need to create more. More diverse superheroes.
And that reminded me what I was going to say too. I was like, the best thing that DC did was actually create divisions of DC. Yeah. So, like, you know, you had
Dwayne McDuffie, dude.
Yeah, you had Dwayne McDuffie. He had Milestone, and that was his own thing. It was a bunch of black characters, you know, from Icon to Static Shock. And there was a bunch of black heroes. Then you had Wildstorm, which was Jim Lee's creation.
Chinese, yep, exactly.
So, I mean,
I watched the documentaries.
And he had his old thing. And then you had Vertigo. I can't remember the lady's name, but that was her thing.
And that was all minorities. And you see, when, and this is not to discredit anyone, but when you write about your own skin color or ethnicity, it just becomes raw because you come from that background. No one can write it the way you can. A man can't write a woman the way a woman can. You get what I mean? Because she is a woman. So that's why I like that DC divided, you know, created those branches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you had those, and all those characters, from those different brands are good. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody,
Oh, yeah, they are.
even like Vertigo, everyone knows everyone knows Watchmen, everyone knows Alan Moore's work, everyone knows Swamp Thing. Even if you go to the Wildstorm, not Wildstorm, but like Milestone, everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like even Static Shock's probably the most popular, that Dwayne McDuffie did.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, everybody knows Icon. I hope they do.
Not a lot, probably.
Yeah, not a lot, but I mean, it was just because he was doing so much. He was writing some awesome stories for Teen Titans,
he was everywhere.
Justice League. So maybe he
wrote a lot for a lot of stories for Superman. You know that.
Yeah. So maybe his characters didn't get that shine like they needed to.
Yeah.
But he was needed elsewhere. But he still had some great characters. Right. And it would be nice to see. I would love to see an Icon movie. I would love to see a Static Shock movie.
You know what? There was a close friend of Dwayne McDuffie's. You even said there was a petition or a letter or on it because he wanted to speak about something about race and they cut it out or whatever. I hope that gets put into light. And then since Dwayne McDuffie unfortunately passed away so young, but his name is still remembered. So I'm hoping that we can carry on all the creations that he created, make it bigger. You get what I mean? To keep his memory alive. Really. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, he's an awesome guy. Yeah,
and I don't know. To me, it means something. When a character is created by whoever it's created by, even...
you don't just swap them out. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, you don't. And it's like those characters are written... It doesn't matter if a white guy writes a black guy or a Chinese guy writes, a white guy or a Chinese guy writes a black guy. It's like whoever... It doesn't matter who wrote it. But whoever wrote that character with that certain ethnicity for a reason. Mm-hmm. It brings the values to the character. It brings their perspective, their point of view to the character. It drives why they do certain things. Exactly. So it's like it's important, and I hate that they just feel like it's a palette swap and it doesn't matter. It's like we want everybody to be the same and treated the same and everything, but everybody's not the same. And it should be looked at as something that's beautiful, not something that's wrong and bad. So I'm just gonna have this there for that sake. Exactly. And it doesn't make any sense to me, and I hate it.
Thor is Thor for a reason. Superman is Superman for a reason. Batman is Batman for a reason.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
I hate it when they.
If you feel like there's not enough of a certain thing, you have to create. Don't swap them out. That's the most disrespectful, laziest thing really you could ever do.
Right. And even like Captain America, he's like my favorite Marvel hero, and the fact that in the comics they swapped him out for Falcon, it's like that's not Captain America anymore. Captain America is Captain America because he was a scrawny guy. From back in the 50s or whatever. He fought in a war, you know what I mean? That and he was on the front lines and he helped people and he was doing things that a black man couldn't do and facing adversity and everything with Hydra and everything during that time period that a black man couldn't do. He was frozen in time and brought to our time. So all that history makes him who he is. He makes him Captain America. And then for him to be like, oh, you know what? Falcon's Captain America now. No, Falcon is not. Falcon is just Falcon who happens to go by Captain America because that's not who Captain America is to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I remember talking to a random girl about this a long time ago. Like some of the best values that America had, aside from the racism and everything, came from the 50s. I believe that. The 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, our values were good. We took pride in, how we built our cars, how we dressed, manners, like all that.
Ladylike mannerisms.
Exactly. All that stuff came from out of the 50s. And if Captain America was a black man during that time, he would have had a skewed perspective, and he wouldn't have been that moral, Captain America that always does the right things and says the right things.
Would have been a bit angry.
Exactly. He wouldn't have been that guy. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they just changed him into Falcon, it was like, it made me upset because that's not Captain America. Captain America is his values. Even when he was a scrawny kid, he's his values, the one that never gives up in a fight, the one that always seeks out truth. That's who he is.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, comics are really special. I'm not a huge comic book fan like Kombat, but I do respect them. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. These writers write these things for a reason. To be honest, I'd rather read a comic book than go see a movie because you screw it up so freaking much. What's wrong with authenticity, man? If you get, you get what I mean? The comic book was a culture before the superheroes movies became popular, before it even became a fad or a trend. Mm-hmm. At least be respectful to the comic book artists and get it right, man.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's disrespectful.
I remember being a kid, reading those comics when they weren't drawn so well and, thumbing through my books and, you know, having my little shoebox, my little Nike box full of comics,
Yeah.
and being made fun of and everything. And now it's just like the thing to do, and it's trendy.
And we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
I've seen other videos where they're talking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then and then now that it's trendy and everything, they just want to make it all inclusive, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's like the X-Men are the X-Men for a reason, because you know even Stan Lee came out and said he didn't agree with the whole the civil rights thing that was going on, so he wanted to kind of talk about that in his comics. So he did it with the X-Men.
Yeah.
There's a reason why all the X-Men look the way they do, act the way they do, talk the way they do. Because
and we should tell them too. That's a total fact, right?
Yeah.
How Magneto was supposed to emulate kind of Malcolm X, and then Dr. Martin Luther King was supposed to symbolize Professor X, exactly. And it's funny, I didn't know that. When I watched the movie, you could totally tell. Yeah. Malcolm X was enemy necessary. He's more violent. You know what I mean?
But they were both friends, and they could understand.
Exactly. And I don't even know if most people know that. It's the X-Men. It's about the civil rights movement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I wonder if people know that.
And being persecuted because you're different and looking different, and there's a reason why it was written the way it was written. So you can't go and say, hey, these are the X-Men, and everybody's all cool with them now because, you know, they're all a bunch of white guys, and it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, every X-Men is special and different for their own reason. Nightcrawler is the way he is because he was persecuted by people, even though he was a man of God. He hid in the church. He didn't want to hurt anybody, but the way that he looked and being persecuted. If Nightcrawler was just, you know, a handsome white dude, then all that is taken away, and you destroy the character.
It waters it down completely.
The same thing, you know, with any of them. You can pick any of the X-Men. You know, Colossus, Jubilee. You know, being a runaway from home.
And the thing is, they don't have to be turned into like a white guy. You get what I mean? It could be a black person turned into white. It could be anything.
Yeah. Just change
woman turned into a man.
Yeah, changing their ethnicity. You know,
or their gender.
It's like Jubilee, Jubilation Lee. She's from. I think she was like from. Gosh, I can't remember the country. She's from another country, and it's an Asian country. I can't remember what it's called, but she's basically, excuse my ignorance, but she's an Asian girl who was adopted, and she never quite fit in. Then she got her power. She's a runaway. All of that.
So she's of Asian descent. So she doesn't have American features.
No.
She doesn't have like the traditional. Yeah.
And kudos to Marvel for getting her right in every movie they put her in. They always made her an Asian girl.
Yeah.
But that's such a big part of what makes the hero the hero.
Yeah. And
that's just the point I'm trying to hit home, guys. So hopefully you guys kind of see where I'm coming from. I know, you know, I may come off as offending people online, but that's just...
Well, you know what? I'm bad.
I feel like either they're just ignorant or they're just stupid, and I really hope they're just ignorant, because ignorance you can overcome with education.
Well, I understand, like, you know, especially with a lot of minorities and a lot of black, you're happy to see yourself on TV, especially if it's shown in a positive light. I don't get mad at that, but the thing is, they're doing it in the wrong way. You get what I mean?
Yeah, that's not yourself you're seeing. It's like the same thing with Iris West and the Flash TV show that I love so much. I know that is not a black woman that I'm seeing. She's not written like a black woman.
Yeah, so it's like what I said earlier. If there's an absence or a small amount of women superheroes, don't replace them from the original men. Create more women superheroes.
Exactly.
If there's Chinese superheroes absent or missing, or African American heroes missing or absent, you need to, or not a lot, you need to create more. Don't just freaking replace them with other people that were already written. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's causing confusion.
You're doing two things. First, you're confusing people that have never read the comics. You're angering people that have that are really invested on those characters before the movie was out, and it's painting the wrong picture. And I know these studios mean well, but they don't think things through.
Not to mention, if you create these new ideas, people would be so excited. You get what I mean? Because it's never been done before, really. So I would like to see more of new creator, more black. Chinese too, you know, Spanish, you know, woman too. You get what I mean? Like, I feel like right now all we have is Wonder Woman and who is it? I think that's it. Really, that's all I remember. Wonder Woman.
As far as women?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who's like really in the spotlight now? I know they're really
Captain Marvel. Well, she's starting to just come out now. Yeah. So, you know, you need to write more of those, and I would love to see that, really. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and Marvel just, I mean, come on, like why has there not been an awesome epic Bishop movie? I loved Bishop as a kid. I read the comics. I collected the cards, and I loved him when he showed up. Yeah, when he showed up in the X-Men movie. Like, why can't we get like a Bishop? Why do we have to have like a, I don't know, man, like a Black Iris West, or I don't even know what that Flash Thompson kid is. But why can't we get a Bishop movie? Why can't we? You know what I mean? Like, he's a cool character. Mm-hmm. It's like, do him correctly.
I feel like it's being rushed too. They're just putting it out. You know, yeah, we need black. Let's just turn this. You know, this. Yeah. You know, this white person to a black person because, you know, there needs to be more black on TV or in movies. Like, stop it.
Yeah, it's a crutch and it's an excuse and it's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if I offended anybody on there, but
no, you don't apologize.
It's stupid. And if you can't see what's going on, hopefully this podcast help you, and at the very least it gets you thinking. You know what I mean? So,
and that's what we want to do on the podcast, really. You get what I mean? And our podcast will offend because we're not trying to water down anything.
No.
It's time for people to start thinking in 2017. Really start thinking.
Yeah.
You know, stop accepting what people put out. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't have to like it.
And I'm all for a good story, which is why I continue to watch The Flash, and I love The Flash. But I'm not stupid. Like, come on. Just, I don't know. Get real, people. Get real.
You know what? I'm a fan of Luke Cage.
Yeah. Luke Cage was done perfectly.
I'll tell you straight up and honestly, that was the first TV show I've seen in a very long time that felt so authentic and it was new. And I felt like in the year 2017, it actually came out 2016, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's what needed to come out. That's why it broke Netflix. It's an awesome show, man. It really is. It's brand new. Now imagine if you created all these woman heroes, you get what I mean? And all these other minority superheroes, what you could do with that. Stop replacing people that are already awesome. Keep them the same, write new ones. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me and Random Girl?
We want to hear your comments.
I know I kind of ranted on, and it wasn't really an entertaining podcast.
You didn't rant.
But, I mean, hopefully it was informative. And at the very least, it got you guys thinking about what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, color is not just a palette swap. It's a cultural swap, and it shouldn't happen. Because if I have a white character and I write them, it's just, oh man, I can't even get my words straight.
So say if you had a really authentically written white person, you get what I mean? Who knows the background? You get what I mean? Maybe he had maybe he grew up in a shelter or an orphanage. Maybe he had a great home or whatever. You could really relate to this character. And then they just switched him to black. You get what I mean? Yeah. We're not just saying we're trying to turn everything black into women. We're saying it needs to be authentic. The origin needs to be authentic. So I would be very much offended. I'm a black woman. If it was written, if it was an original white person and they turned it into black, or if it was original black and they turned it into white, it would be very offensive because you need to stick to what the writer did.
Yeah, what the creator wanted,
and
just represent. You know, represent it how it's supposed to be represented. There's a reason why there's there's more than two. There's a reason why there's Jon Stewart and there's Hal Jordan.
Exactly.
You can't just take Hal Jordan and make him a black guy. It doesn't work. You can't just make Jon Stewart a white guy. That doesn't work. I mean, these are two different people from two different backgrounds, and they wield that ring just as aggressively but differently.
Yeah, be respectful of all, and don't just go and replace it. Like, come on.
So anyway, like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? I'm just trying to get people talking and to just get people's eyes open. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you did this podcast.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad I did too because, you know, like I said, I wasn't going to do anything today because there just wasn't any good news, and I usually do the, Atomic Cast at the end of the week, but I saw this and I had to say something.
It's been going on. It's been ongoing, yeah.
And it's tiring. So anyway, like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you think. And always, until next time.
Peace.
So long.